Uh, didn't think we'd have to be doing this one the day after we already did an episode, but
Here we
Emergency
are.
Podcast, episode 136. I'm going to count this as an episode because I am going to upload it. And I do think that there's going to be a lot said about the team and where it's at and where it goes from here. But Skyy Clark, he's leaving apparently. So.
He's packed bags, from what we know, and is going somewhere. It initially got dropped by Illini guys that Skyy is leaving. There's been some recent backtrack on it. I don't know. Sounds like he packed some things up and is taking time. I don't know the difference. And we don't have any insider information or anything, so we're just going off what we hear. But yeah, Quack's here. He said, Quackle says, "Rip to this team and Ethan's facial hair. We do miss the mustache. We do miss the mustache.
Maybe it'll make a comeback. Who knows? You never know. But I don't. I can't say that I'm surprised by this. It kind of felt like it was trending in a weird direction with him, especially since he hadn't. He didn't start in that last game when he played. So
yeah, I mean. But I said in the podcast, like that was a great reason not to start him. You don't know if it's because he was guaranteed starting time. He's not playing into games when he probably wants to be in the game. But I don't I think, there was a trend, people go home for the holidays. His brother decommits, you don't know if that has something to do with it. And he told his brother, hey, you don't want to come here. And then decided that he also didn't want to stay there. To not stick it out, I think if he is truly leaving, says a lot about somebody's character. And I don't want to bash on an 18-year-old kid for, changing his mind. But I mean, I've always taught my kids that if you commit to something, you stick with it. So will it help? Will it hurt the team? I don't think right now it's going to hurt the team. It might help.
They already suck.
Yeah. And Skyy's had one good game since he's been here. So
one great game. He's had a couple good games.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
so yeah, where does Illinois go from here? I mean, I guess you're going to see what we've been seeing just with Skyy out. So
you're going to hand the keys to Jaden Epps at the point guard position, even more than you already did. And you're gonna probably, this certainly, if Skyy doesn't come back for the rest of the season, which it seems like that's not gonna be the case. But I
don't know. Joe Tipton tweeted it out too, so that kind of. But again, he cited Illini guys on that. So
well, let's just put it this way. This certainly makes it easier for when Luke Goody comes back that you're not going to be taking anybody's minutes away.
Yeah.
I think that there's no doubt to me that Luke Goody should be a starter when he's back.
Goody definitely starts when he comes back now, I feel.
Yeah. And this kind of makes it a little bit easier because sometimes, like we said, going into the season, they might have too many guys that can play a lot of minutes. And now you're not going to be taking any minutes away from anybody. Skyy just didn't, I don't know, some people, and we're not going to do the Facebook thing, which is just bash the player and call him soft. He's an 18-year-old kid. Like
right.
all these old people on Facebook that I've already seen saying another player who wants his butt wiped or something. It's like, I'm 5 years older than him, and I'm more mature than these dipshits on Facebook. I mean, it's ridiculous. And I'm not mature at all, by the way.
ACG's here. What's up? He says, wonder if this was the reason we've had issues. I don't know. I don't know if Skyy Clark was the cancer in the locker room that they needed to cut off. I don't know. I don't know that. I'm not going to speculate on that, but I feel like he was supposed to be the point guard that is supposed to get the team into sets. I know that Brad likes to use everybody, but that was his job. And as of recent, he wasn't doing his job very well. So he says teams don't go from beating Texas and UCLA to getting beat down by Northwestern without internal issues. Sarah is here. What's up, Sarah? She says, was hoping he would leave at the end of the year to transfer. Okay. ACG says also figured he would leave since ZZ decommitted to, but thought he would at least make it to the end of the year. Yeah, that's ZZ. Decommitting. I don't know if that played a role in it or if there was talk because ZZ was supposed to be the kid that wanted to come to Illinois. Like, I mean, he committed early, so I don't know. BM
Well,
says Kentucky.
yeah, maybe.
Kentucky wants him.
Maybe now. I mean, they don't really have a point guard other than
Yeah.
Case and Wallace, and he's probably a one and done. But I don't know. I don't think that I think there's blame on both sides from what we know. Like, I don't think Illinois. I would highly believe that Illinois probably didn't use Skyy in the way that he wanted to be used, or
I don't
at
know
least
if
the
Skyy
last.
physically could be the guy he wanted to be, though. I mean,
Yeah.
he was we talked about a repeat. He's been slow on defense, and his offense. I mean, he's had open shots, and he just can't knock them down. So, and if this has been going on since after Missouri, that probably plays a big role in how he played, the last game too. So, I think if you knew it was coming, you probably don't play him at all, though. Like, he just sits on the bench, and you say he's got an arm injury and can't play.
His minutes have been real inconsistent.
Yeah.
It's like you look at from Vegas, he goes 28 against UCLA and 22 against Virginia. Remember, he was sitting late in both those games. 25 against Lindenwood because he had 19 points on 8 of 9 shooting.
Yeah.
And then he had 30 against Syracuse, 31 against Maryland, 21 against Texas, 32 against Penn State, 21 against Alabama A&M, 19 against Mizzou, and then 20 against Northwestern. So
yeah. I think the thing that is most frustrating is that Illinois picked Skyy Clark over, Courtney Ramey or, the other guards that they were looking at in the portal and went with Skyy Clark. And I assume told them, hey, you're going to be our starting point guard. You're going to play a bunch. And then, it kind of turned into, didn't play minutes at the end of the game. Epps was in there at the end of the game. But you think how much better Illinois probably could have been if they would have got one of those, older point guards. So,
well, I think the spaces that we listened to earlier with Ant Wright's spaces, one thing that I hadn't really thought about this season, and maybe I think it's a good point, is they don't really have from what we've seen, it doesn't seem this way. Like, there's no player on this team that's going to go after another player in practice and hold them accountable.
yeah.
Like, Trent Frazier was that guy. Io was that guy. Kofi, I don't know if he was as much of that guy. I think it's easier for a guard to be that way, but who on this team is doing that? I don't know if anybody even could other than maybe Shannon.
Yeah.
So I think that is a big problem because Coleman Hawkins comes out before the season talking about how selfless this entire team is. It just doesn't seem like they're holding each other accountable from what we've seen. And that was obviously a point that was brought up in that Twitter space that Ant Wright created. So I'm not going to take credit for saying that, but I think it's a good point from what we know and what we've seen.
Yeah, and I Underwood was asked about leaders today, and he said that Terrence Shannon has been a leader, but is as a leader, is he? I feel like Terrence Shannon is too soft spoken to be a true leader. It seems like, hey, he gets the guys together, and we powwow around, but I don't know if there's a true leader that has that tenacity to be a strong leader, like you're saying, like Ant Wright said. So BM asked if Goody is going to redshirt. He's supposed to be back this month, so I haven't heard anything different.
I think he has a checkup in like a week or something, or sometime next week. So I don't know if it's like not good, then maybe he doesn't play at all this year in red shirts, but I would assume he's going to be back.
Yeah. And from everything we know, he's supposed to be back. And
probably late January.
I think more now. We've been on I don't know if Goody's going to make that big a difference to, now playing time opens up and it might help. Ian says fire Underwood now.
Okay.
I don't know about that. Monty Bates part 2, all this high school recruit adversity, hits, cries, leaves, going to go to low D1 because no one wants a crybaby that leaves when it gets hard. Oh, okay, Zach.
Well, like we said going into this, not going to sit here and trash an 18-year-old. No, I think, well, we just don't know enough about what's going on internally. Like from the outside, yeah, it looks like it's easy for people to say, yeah, Skyy's soft and he can't handle the hard coaching. And it certainly seems like on Twitter, Dre Gibbs Lawhorn is going to be able to handle that, given what he tweeted yesterday. So
yeah, he wants a coach that does that.
Not everyone can play. Not everyone can be like IO or like DGL or appears to be, or like Trent. I love how I'm putting him in the conversation with them already, but it just seems that way to me. Maybe the fact that Underwood coaches too hard is why people want him fired now. Apparently, even though it's like another point that was
weird.
Another point that was brought up in the space is this was by Ant himself. Fred Hoiberg was a terrific coach in the Big 12, terrific, and he's gone to Nebraska. They've gotten talent in there. And he hasn't won at all. Brad Underwood comes into Illinois. Illinois was in the tubes. They were in the same conversation as Nebraska and Northwestern at the time, and they've won. Around. So what the hell are we doing saying that Brad Underwood needs to be fired?
Yeah. That seems crazy. ACG says, not sure why, and it's probably not true, but Meyer gives me the give me the ball, I'm better than y'all vibe to him. I 100% agree with that. Okay. So Ethan loves Matthew Meyer. So
I like guys who can shoot. Nobody else in this team can shoot.
He can't coach, but got the number 2 and 1 seed 2 years ago, but go off yet. Ian is going a little crazy
Big
on
Ten
Underwood right now.
We're
here to talk about Skyy Clark, and we're talking about Brad Underwood's coaching ability.
Also, pretty much 2 back-to-back Big Ten regular season titles, one of which totally screwed, and then a Big Ten tournament title. So
he's supposed to be back
2 and 3.
Goody is supposed to be back this month, like middle of January.
Can we pull up Ian's comment from 333?
This one?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
He says that he's shown a consistent lack of awareness and coaching abilities. First of all, what the hell do you know about coaching ability, you effing idiot? Whoa. Not one instance on any on me can point to what is a coach then? What is coaching? What makes you can Jay Wright coach? Sure, yeah, he can coach. Yeah, great. Yeah, because he's won. Also,
where does Zach Bates get his information from?
Probably from some guy in a dumpster. Okay. Anyway, not one instance, any on me. Nice grammar, by the way, Ian, you idiot. Can point. Well, this guy's never been in our chat, so I'm just going to go after him, and I hope he never listens again because he's a effing idiot. Can point that says he can get like what makes what tells you that somebody can coach? Like what tells you that? Like if Brad Underwood can't coach, then why have they had a ton of success in conference play over the last 3 seasons? Big Ten tournament championship, pretty much 2 regular season ones, as well as a Big Ten tournament. I just said that. What the hell am I doing? 1 seed would have been in the tournament the COVID year, and then a 4 seed last year. But time and time again, he can't coach. He just can't coach. Wow. Yeah. I'm sure Brad's real shaken that Ian Stewart, this nobody, this loser, this moron, says that he can't coach. What an idiot. So stupid. Anyway. He has this. Yeah, I just don't think that that's true. I feel like we would have. I think that would have come out if that actually happened. Team Meyer, someone needs to thank you. I agree. St. Dominic's. He's here. You're here to relate. Okay. Called it yesterday. Underwood gets after his players because he expects the best out of his players. Everyone is soft as Charmin nowadays and can't take criticism. And the problem is that this issue is becoming like politics because there's one side that is defending Underwood and saying that, he's because there's no middle ground anymore in almost anything. And I think the political world is kind of bleeding into this world where it's like we have one side saying Underwood coaches too hard, the other side's calling out 18-year-old players saying they're too soft and all this bullshit, which is ridiculous. But I mean, can we let's just block Ian, get him the hell out of here. I've seen enough. Guy's an idiot.
I don't know how to, but sure. I'm on it.
I
got it. Later,
Thank
Ian.
you. Yeah,
Get out of
the hell
here.
out of here. Just we don't really block people, but if you say something that's stupid and then you don't defend yourself when I call you an idiot, then also you have a name that's very British-like, so you're probably pretty stupid to begin with. Moving forward, I can say that too because I'm pretty much British
This
almost.
pod's getting aggro. Ethan gets aggro.
Well, if this guy's going to come in and make comments that are that stupid, I can't just sit here and not act like that. Yeah, it's just ridiculous. I'm not going to stand for that.
Yeah.
All right. Excuse me.
Save
Should we
some
continue your
slander
attention?
for Coleman. What?
That guy sucks. That's the big problem. You wanna know what
Lunkers
the
is
big
here.
problem is?
Ethan went after Lunkers yesterday. He's still back, so that's good.
See, that's it's kind of like Brad Underwood with his players. Sometimes you go after him, next day you show up.
Your
I like
best
that.
friends.
This Ian guy is not showing up ever again because he's a moron. What an idiot.
ACG says extend Daddy Brad for 10 more years. I'm fine with Brad Underwood forever.
Yeah,
I really am.
people probably take me very seriously when I say Texas.
Skyy is leaving. Yeah. The report is that Skyy has packed up stuff and has left campus. Some reports say he's not coming back. Some say that he may be coming back. We really don't know completely, but
He's going to Kentucky.
there's a really good chance that he's not going to play tomorrow.
If he just shows up and plays.
Imagine, you know what? If Skyy wasn't fully leaving after Illinois Twitter going crazy today,
Yeah.
I would leave.
Yeah.
So, I mean, people are ridiculous. I think who had that comment about ACG or MJ said, I love Skyy's poise and we'll root for him elsewhere.
I
I
agree.
agree. I thought that he always played pretty under control on a team that is super out of control most of the time. It never culminated to anything great that we saw. He had that game, he went 8 of 9, but he had trouble getting to the basket. And it seems like he was still a step slow. I think that, give him another year and he's probably going to be back to, where he was before. So guards have been leaving a lot lately. That's because Brad Underwood doesn't believe in point guards.
Well, let's also put this out there for the folks. Skyy Clark, under control, yes, but the same turnover rate as Coleman Hawkins. However, I think he had the ball less and has played less minutes, but same turnover rate.
Yeah.
But a little bit, he is under control, but there's also turnovers that aren't really the player's fault all the time unless it's Coleman Hawkins. So
yeah, Jay says he didn't think Skyy would transfer this early. Yeah, I thought he'd stick it out even if he was, but we don't know what goes on behind closed doors and everything else. Lunkers with a good point. A lot of guards: Skyy, Ace Wolf, Pods, Curbelo. A lot of guards.
Let's rank them.
Skyy, Ace Wolf, Pods, and Curbelo.
Rank them for the Illini program, and if they stuck it out, who would be the best out of the 4?
Right now, I would say Ace Wolf, even though I hate his name.
I would go
then
Adam Miller 1, yeah.
Pods.
I agree, yep.
And then probably Curbelo and Skyy, just because Curbelo can penetrate. Skyy never proved that he could penetrate a defense.
Well, Lindenwood saw what was what.
He didn't penetrate though. What was he from 3?
Yeah, but he was 3 for 3 inside from 3, I think.
Miller would have been nice to have here. I just think Miller's tenacity would have been nice to have on it. Like, I think Miller would have been a guy that would have yelled at people.
Yeah. He was also like, for some reason, I saw some IO NBA highlights. So I was like, I want to watch the Nebraska game again when IO carried them to overtime and won and dropped 30. And you watch that game, you can see the offense. Like, Miller's very high energy, knows what to do with the ball when he touches it. Yeah.
I mean, it was kind of a shame that I know that he wanted to be a point guard, which was going to be hard to do with IO and stuff. But
and Trent,
it seemed like he got stuck in the corner a lot. I see that when he's playing for LSU too, though. It seems like they
do have a point guard there that's struggling. So I feel like they got some Murray State kids there.
St. Dominic says, with Skyy Clark, I think it was Brad. Sorry, I knew the whole shoulder thing was bullcrap. He got benched by Brad and couldn't handle it. He quit. I knew he was going to quit if he got benched. Yeah, supposedly Ked Prince is the one that dropped this. He said that it wasn't because him and Underwood didn't get along. But again, you get benched for Sincere Harris, and I'm sure that didn't sit well. So regardless of if they get along, it doesn't mean that they totally agree with each other. So
I don't think the shoulder thing was BS either, or
Yeah.
BC as you put it. Also, I've gone after St. Dominic's enough, so I won't do it today.
Said bullcrap.
I said BC, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I played for a guy like Brad, and he really cares, but some guys can't handle that. Yeah. But in his pregame for Wisconsin today, he said that he was coming back down off that. Like he feels like he's yelled enough that he's going to be more, what do you say, stoic on the sideline. So I'm interested to see that tomorrow.
I don't know
If
about
Illinois is down 20 to Wisconsin. So wouldn't Underwood want all them guys back? His coaching style is not for everyone, let alone 4 and 5 stars.
Certainly makes you appreciate guys like Io and a lot more than you already do.
Yeah.
I was going to say Io and Kofi, but I'm just kind of Io because Io was there for a really bad season.
Curbelo is suspended. It supposedly wasn't adhering to team standards, whatever that means.
What
So,
St.
I don't know any
John's?
more information.
How does St. John's have standards? That program sucks. That program is a joke. They play the worst non-conference schedule. Their locker, have you seen their locker room? Their locker room is like a junior middle school elementary locker room. I mean, what are we doing? Fire Mike Anderson. Bring Curbelo back to Illinois. Moving
Underwood got in trouble for team conduct. Oh, I think you're talking about Curbelo there.
That'd be funny if Underwood.
Yeah, are we sure that Underwood didn't punch Skyy Clark in the face at practice? You guys want to get that one out there?
You know, I had a dream last night that Underwood left for Texas, and who do you think Illinois hired in my dream?
Chris Beard.
Nope.
Oh,
that would be. I mean, that would be the
the
reverse. Like I could see Texas hiring it. Well, this was an in-house hire, and I think it would be great if it ever happened. But I don't want Underwood to go. She would probably do a way better job than that guy is doing right now, according to Ian Stewart.
I assume Chester.
Yeah, I think Chester's the guy. I mean, Brad's got like 10 years left in him. Once that's over, Chester, if he's still Chester will probably be a mid-major coach by then. They bring him back.
Yeah. Not Matt says, what's your opinion on Rodgers? Now that Skyy's gone, does his usage go up? I feel like he isn't really talked about, but does he have a chance to prove something now?
No.
I think Ty Rodgers, what baffled me from the beginning is how Underwood said that Ty Rodgers was going to run the point some.
Let's do it again.
Yeah, let's run it back.
He's ahead of Coleman for me running the offense.
Yeah, I'm absolutely okay.
Why not have a different, like, the number one thing that this team needs right now is a point guard that can take care of the basketball and not have these stupid turnovers.
I don't think Ty Rodgers is going to leave. I think that he understands development. And
not that Skyy doesn't, but you know.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just not saying he doesn't, but he doesn't. So
it seemed like a direct shot by
Sean Miller. Got another Sean Miller.
I'm in if Brad's not going to Texas though. Like Jeff Goodman wrote an article about who it could be, and Brad's name wasn't even in there, and I believe him. We should do this.
Yes. Leave the team. Let's rank them.
Number 1. Let's see.
I honestly don't know. Like
I think Meyer is number 1. I don't think Meyer would, but I'm going to say he's number 1 just because he's had the most.
We're talking like mid-season, next guy that leaves.
Yeah. Meyer, see ya. He's deucing. He's like, you know what? I'm just going to leave.
Okay. All right.
I think Ty Rodgers would have to be number 2 just because, underrated. I think RJ 3. I think he should be 1 actually. I'm going to flip RJ and Meyer.
I don't know.
RJ 1.
Underwood's been talking a lot of good about RJ right now lately.
Well, if you listen to the spaces earlier, Ant writes, and we're just going to reference this all day, but check it out. Obviously, some people in there that I don't agree with. I don't think you do either. But anyway, Ant Wright talked about how RJ doesn't look like he worked on his body very much in the offseason.
That's true.
Looks the same.
That's true. And somebody said that him and Goody just sat around and played Call of Duty the whole time. I think.
Well, Goody looked pretty good in the practices that we saw the pictures of, right? He was the driving force to before he got hurt against Kansas when he smoked those bums. But anyway, yeah, I think RJ, I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt with the shoulder until he's fully healthy, but there's definitely issues like defensively. Oh my God, he is lost.
BM says he is bummed that he is leaving and will always root for him. The only guy I probably won't support is Adam Miller. Do you know why he left? The speculation is that his family didn't receive as many tickets as Io DeSumo's. I don't know if that's true or not. So I'm not going to report on that. But
Adam Miller hasn't really trashed the program on his way out. He's been,
Adam Miller still tweets at the guys from the team, which I think really says a lot. Miller left supposedly because his mom didn't get along with Underwood. Yeah.
I hate how in this day and age we just have all these stupid, like even if they're true, there's rumors, and it's just like I don't want to, I just don't want to do it.
ACG says put in the GOAT Brandon Lieb
on the list or in the game.
Bardo just said on his podcast that Rodgers is a future pro.
Well, there's guys like PJ Tucker in the NBA who were like 3-and-D types. The only concern for me with Ty Rodgers is that like he can't really shoot, so he's not really a 3-and-D. And like you could be as a great defender and be in the NBA, but I mean I don't really know.
I think Rodgers needs to prove more on rebounding too. I thought he was going to be like a tenacious rebounder, and he showed like signs of it, but he hasn't impressed me by any means.
No.
So I think a major problem, because I think with today's players, Brad is coming off as verbally abusive. I like Brad's fiery style, but today's players don't respond to that.
I think more than anything, today's like a lot of the elite 5-star, 4-stars more than the others don't respond to that as well. But I think
it's mindset too. Like
we've talked about how important it is to get the right players for this program and for Brad. So I think there's a reason why they haven't really, some of the most successful players here aren't always the mega, like DeMonte, Trent. Those guys weren't like there's exceptions. Obviously, Io is just a different story than a lot of them. Without
you gotta think that getting two of the top transfers just has to throw stuff off so much. I mean, you're going to go after those guys, but I feel like those are two guys that are pretty much give me the ball. Brad talked about a lot of me and not us, and from today's pregame, he sounded like he was like he said I felt pretty good after the Northwestern game. So he's talking about how good the defense is too. So
sweet,
yeah. We got too many people. Yeah, I can't even read all these comments.
Let me figure this out here. Let's see. Okay. Underwood also likes to yell at RJ more than anyone I've ever seen. I agree with that. I'll critique guys, but Brad is the head coach. At some point, maybe just braiding dudes is the only approach. Yeah, I don't know. We don't really see what happens in practice, so that kind of changes the deal there. Thanks for doing this, fellas. Off to the Pacers game. Who are the Pacers losing to tonight? No, I'm just kidding. I don't know who they're playing, but have fun. Yeah. Anyway, starting lineup: Lieb over Coleman. Yeah,
you're muted.
I don't know. Lieb over Coleman. No, I'm not going to get behind that. It'd be hilarious, but
I think I'm okay with that.
I'm down to get Edgar Padilla back, get him running point. He'll be a nice guard, take care of the ball, play hard.
I feel like Edgar got ran out just like Skyy Clark. Brad Underwood forcing guys out. So
who's Bam?
It
says Edgar Padilla back and Bam. Is that like not a person? He's just saying and Bam.
Bam.
Okay, I thought we were talking about Bam Adebayo.
Emerald Lagasse. Bam.
Don't know what that is. I thought we were talking about Bam Adebayo.
Cool. Sorry.
Yeah. Rodgers could be like DeMonte, maybe. Yeah. A little worried about
that he is a glue guy. He's not a shooter.
Yeah, DeMonte was a shooter for that 1 year.
But hopefully Illinois can develop him into a better shooter. We'll see.
Wasn't Edgar Padilla? He was somewhere else.
Padilla
big time talent.
Just left.
I think he went. I thought he went somewhere else, but maybe not.
What? Puerto Rico or something?
I don't know. Who cares?
He transferred after the number 1 seed season, I think. Yes, I agree. Afton said, sorry if you'd answered this already, but what's the protocol on Clark joining another team? Can he join another team this year, or will he have to wait until next year? I believe that he can join another team just like Dane Danger did. I don't know the protocol of him playing right away. I assume that he would have to get some sort of waiver, but I don't think the NCAA is going to let a guy just come in and play.
No.
But he can join a team and be on campus just like Danger was last year for Illinois. So
Brad is 60. Is he 60 or is he 59? I think we need to make sure
that's the same thing.
No. not even close. He is 59. Show some respect.
You think that you want to change what Underwood's done already? It's only 6 years. You think Illinois should get a new coach every 6 years, regardless?
6 years with 2 tournament appearances would have been 3 without COVID.
MJ says not at the D1 level, can't play the same year. Gotcha.
Yeah. A change would be back to the grid. Yeah. I mean, unless you're getting getting somebody who's a proven winner and can do it in this conference. Yeah, I don't know. Need the savior, Luke Goody. Totally agree. Whitman is in charge, different ball game. Yeah, I agree. But I don't think that he would ever fire it. He's not. What would it take for Brad to get fired by this athletic director? Like 4 years in a row of being terrible? I mean,
choking his fiance.
That could be one, yeah. And then she tried to backtrack it after the check cleared, and then still gone. Very surprising that Texas would actually show.
I don't know where Edgar Padilla went.
Yeah,
I was following him on Twitter at one time.
Do we keep our recruiting class together? I think Brad may be getting a Bobby Knight reputation. Okay, I mean, a little less extreme than that. At least Bobby Knight won. That's kind of unfortunate that Brad hasn't done that yet. Yeah, I think DGL. If you looked at his Twitter, he's staying. Amani Hansberry. Got to think what's the reason for him to go, and then is Perrin supposed to be the third in that class?
Yeah, but he wouldn't count.
Yeah, he's a 12-year-old, so he's not ready to play. Junior senior year, Rodgers could be like a leaky black, better than DeMonte in my opinion. I think he's got more upside than DeMonte because I think he's got a little bit more versatility, a little bit more size, probably the potential for more physicality. I think that's a decent comparison. Leaky Black's definitely a guy where you're like, don't shoot the ball. So that's a good start right there.
Play defense and be hard nosed. That's going to be his MO. So
might as well see if Mike Tisdale's got a year in him. I mean, Mike Tisdale's son is Brandon Lieb, so just toss him out there. Will Brad make a sit? No, I don't see why he would. Why would Tim Anderson or Chester Frazier should be locked down forever?
Yeah.
Jeff, whatever his last name is, not totally convinced.
Yeah.
His job seems to be calming Brad down or telling Brad, what are you doing? Then Brad's like stroking out on the bench after that missed call in the Texas game. We already did this. We already did that. Thank you to this Eddie, I guess is what we'll call him, right?
Yeah. I've been calling him BM, but
that seems
you call him whatever you want.
Changes instead. I don't think that's true.
He's got it. Like Brad has what he wants to do. The kids just aren't doing it.
This is year 2 of all new assistants, pretty much. So I don't see why they would make any.
This missed the tournament 2 years in a row, and then Whitman would have some questions. Yeah. I can see that.
Well, this is the first year of that. So hopefully they make it next year.
I don't think anything Brad does this year gets him canned or even on thin ice, as we like to say here.
Now, this next comment here is interesting. I don't know if Jeff Alexander is in charge of the offense, then yeah, there's obviously some questions there. But Tim Anderson's a terrific recruiter.
Yeah, I don't think you can get rid of Tim Anderson. He's done way too much in the recruiting side of things. Like, you don't even need him to coach. Like, Chester Frazier, Jeff Alexander. I could.
Also, let me ask you this one. Here's an interesting question with Chester. It felt like the entire year leading up to this season, like the summer and everything, it really felt like Chester's guys were Sincere and Jaden Epps. And we didn't see much with Chester and Skyy Clark. And I know that, recruiting, obviously they didn't recruit. It's not like Chester really recruited Skyy. It seemed like more of a Tim Anderson thing. But and Underwood probably ran point on that as well. But it really felt like Chester's guys. And Chester obviously should be coaching these guards as much as anybody. And it felt like Epps and Harris were his guys. And it didn't seem like Skyy was much of his guy.
And maybe that was part of, those guys wanting to learn and Skyy thinking that, he knew everything. I don't know. Lunker says, look what Gross did with Akron. Nothing. Quit begging for Underwood out unless it's seasons of being bad.
Yeah,
I agree. Hey, now they play Portland. I plan on giving them some, I can't cuss, for not
some
supporting
shit.
Myers Leonard. Thank you.
Well, I don't want to get into that.
But we got way too many people in here.
Certainly don't want to get into the Myers Leonard thing.
Lunker, great show. Go Illini. Yeah. Illinois, I mean, if this is not even more of a must win now tomorrow with all this drama and could have waited a day, could have waited till 3:00 tomorrow. Right.
Yeah. I'm ready to discuss next season.
Game time tomorrow. Game time would have been a good time to drop this.
Here's the thing. They can go now they got 17. They can go 9-8 from here on out and probably have a chance to make the tournament depending on how those games go. So not dead yet. Let's see. Can the new kid from France play at all? No, he can't. He can play, but he's not gonna play. He looks like he's like 4 years younger than everybody else. He could play hypothetically, yes, but he's not gonna play.
I don't think he's gonna play. I think he's
unless everybody if everybody decides to leave, then yeah, maybe he will play.
I think he's been in 8 practices, so you can't throw him out. This offense is bad enough, and these guys are supposed to know how to run it. I don't think you can throw out Perrin and be like, okay. So, BM, thanks for stopping by. Have a safe trip to Indy. If you're driving, you might live there. Might be walking. So, have a safe walk. Thanks, Rex. ACG Anderson is always up talking to the players. I agree. You see Anderson off the bench.
He's also the best recruiter that they have. So
been the best recruiter they've had. Probably
unless Calipari, that scumbag, swoops in, then I don't think they're going to lose Tim Anderson
after he fires Chin Coleman.
Yeah, Chin Coleman is worthless. You talk about he's pretty much an enforcer if they get into a brush up with Fran McCaffrey. That's pretty much his job. He doesn't do shit otherwise. Shocking. By the way, I guess we comment on the whole Mike Woodson, Fran McCaffrey thing yesterday. Woo! Hot.
Yeah.
It's about time someone calls that dweeb moron out. I'll tell you that.
I guess I didn't I saw some video of it. I wasn't last night I really wasn't paying attention, but it looked like Indiana's assistant coach was out there and Fran was out there. I didn't really.
Yeah, but who has the history? Who has the history of being?
Did they tee up Fran or did they tee up the Indiana coach? And
they were gonna tee up Fran and took it back. And I love how Mike Woodson said, "I'm not going to comment on it." And then I am going to comment on it.
Then he rants.
Then he said bullshit 4 times.
Yeah, then he rants for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
St. Dominic says, well, Bruce didn't really have multiple bad seasons. Bruce Weber, through 5 seasons record, is light years better than Brad.
Okay, but there's a problem.
Bruce and Brad Weber both had NBA guys.
No. Bruce Weber inherited one of the best teams in the history of the program from Bill Self. Brad Underwood inherited absolute garbage from John Gross.
Yeah.
So, there's no comparing that at all.
Yeah. I mean, Brad Underwood's had the best record in the Big Ten the last 3 seasons.
And the difference between Bruce and John Gross is that after the inherited players left, Bruce kept it afloat for a while, and they were still good. But after Gross's inherited players from Bruce, which weren't great, after they left, Gross had no clue what he was doing.
Yeah. Case says, as a Mizzou fan, this is still sad. I feel your pain.
This guy comments on every single one. He comments on every single one saying how bad he feels. Like, who cares? I
don't know if he's saying if he's feeling
I think he's sarcastically feeling bad or something. I don't know.
Didn't see it, but did McCaffrey do what he tried doing against Illinois a few years ago?
He's not going to do that to Mike Woodson, I'll tell you that.
Imbrat says, so what does it tell you about a guy that quits after the first game he doesn't start? Tell me this generation isn't all like that. I don't think they are, and I don't know if that is the reason why.
I could handle the heat right now.
I don't know
Toss
if that's
me
the
in there.
reason why he left. I think that, like I said, and we talked about it, and people talk about it. You know, you go home. I can't remember who tweeted that out. You go home and you're around your family and you're talking about, you know, what's going on in Champaign. I guess it's Urbana Champaign now. I don't know if you saw that.
Wow, that's exciting.
Good news there. Nobody's going to call it that,
Jesus.
but and you know, you get people talking, and you talk to your little brother that decommitted. So I think that this was probably set in motion before he sat. He got his haircut. I literally tweeted out, I don't see Skyy Clark here. And then I deleted it because then I realized he got his haircut and he was sitting on the bench. But
yeah, going back to the Bruce and Brad thing, first year for Bruce Weber was 2003, 2004. He inherited Darren Williams, Nick Smith, which, you know, I don't know about that. Luther Head, Roger Powell, D Brown. I mean, seriously, like, why are we comparing that? Okay, let's look at 2018 or 2017, 2018 Illini team that Brad Underwood inherited. He
Kipper
brought
Nichols.
in, he had Kipper Nichols, LaRon Black, Michael Finke, Aaron Jordan, Mark Allstork, which I believe he was a transfer, so not really inherited. And then he had freshman Mark Smith, who was a complete, you know, I mean, you think Skyy Clark soft? That guy is as soft as it gets.
And at the time, I wasn't 100% on board with the Bruce Weber fire. I didn't think that he deserved it at the time, and especially when Thomas goes and hires John. I'm an okay D3 coach. Gross.
No, I'm an okay mid-major coach. You know, he's okay, but he's much more student. Like Bruce Weber was over 500 every single season at Illinois except 07, 08. And they weren't that bad. Like they were 16 and 19, but from a metrics perspective, they had the 29th ranked defensive efficiency that season. So, and they played a tough non-conference with losses to Arizona, Duke, and Maryland. So it's a bit of a different situation, but you can't compare what Brad inherited to what Bruce inherited. It's just completely different.
Not Matt says, subject change. How important is the game tomorrow? Still have a lot of hope for the team. You don't accidentally beat 2 top 10 teams, but 0-4 to start conference play is concerning. I think that max panic level goes to 1 billion if they lose this game tomorrow. Yeah. Wisconsin is, like Ethan said yesterday, a very overranked 14 seed. I know that they've been playing well in the Big Ten, but other than that, they really haven't done anything. This team has to come out and show some grit and some chemistry and prove that they're not just that those 2 games weren't flukes. And right now they just look like flukes. They look like bad losses for Texas and UCLA. They don't look like, you know, Illinois played well.
Especially if you have Wisconsin without Tyler Wall, who didn't practice. So I don't think he's going to play. And if you lose to them without him, then you might as well give up on the season.
Underwood thinks that he's going to play, but of course,
that's just what you're doing. I went to college in Sarasota, yeah. Brad is the new Gene Keady, kind of starting to look like him also. I mean, that's not that bad in terms of a comparison. And he kind of does look like him. Yeah. Let's see. I don't know, but if we had Dana Altman, man, whoo, we have like 4 national championships.
Yeah, I don't know that.
Let's look it up. Altman. I mean, he's the best of the best. Passing on Dana Altman.
So what do you think starting lineup's going to be tomorrow?
Let's see. I'll just say right now, if Dana Altman was the head coach of the Illini, they would have 5 national championships. Let's see. So I think at the 1, you got to go with Jaden Epps, right? Who started last game at the 1?
Sincere.
Yeah, I think you go Epps this time. I think
Mhm.
you let it be known who your point guard is. And then you go TSJ. I guess. I don't know. I'm struggling with this one. You know what? Let's do this. Let's really send a message to Skyy Clark.
I just think you change Epps for Sincere.
Nope.
That's what you
Nope.
run
Here's
with,
what you do.
but-
Here's what you do. You send a message and you go with the newcomer of the transfer last year. I'm gonna let you put this together without saying any names. You go with the guy who transferred last season and joined the program and then didn't play but is now playing.
Dane Danger.
Then you go with the two big transfers,
Meyer and Shannon Jr.
And then you go with 2 freshmen.
You tell me Coleman Hawkins isn't starting, is what you're telling me.
This is what I want.
And Sincere?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's what I want, but it won't happen. So let's just scratch that and act like that's,
Epps, Sincere, DJ Hawkins, Danger.
I'm not benching Meyer.
Ethan's definitely not benching.
No. You think Meyer deserves to be benched more than Coleman? I mean, give me a break.
Light on guards because they all transfer out. Maybe we lower our sights for the season, like maybe beating anybody is cause for celebration. Yeah, I mean, right now it's just like please get in the tournament. That's where we're at as Illinois fans.
Some people have them last 4 buys, some people have them last 4 in. So already slipping. But it's probably if I had to guess, based on how Brad's talking about the Northwestern game for some reason, I think it might just be the same lineup.
He forgot Meyer. Is James Brown still a possibility?
No.
North Carolina. We did not report this, but he it wasn't after our last show, it was the show before. He committed to North Carolina like 2 hours later.
Still got Merez Johnson though. We're fine.
So, good thing we got Goody. We need him last month. Hit the like button. Lunker says hit the like button. Like, follow, subscribe. Absolutely. Whatever you guys can do for us. We appreciate it. James Brown is going to UNC. That would have been huge to get him and Merez Johnson, but obviously
UNC
he probably wants to blaze his own trail. So he's tired of being in Merez's shadow all these years.
Definitely.
So, yep. But
Coleman Hawkins should not start.
Coleman, do you think Coleman plays over 30 minutes tomorrow? Because I hope he doesn't.
Oh, absolutely. He might play all 40. I mean, Brad, it's just he's almost handcuffed by Coleman because he doesn't want to do anything. I don't get it. I get one to be loyal to a guy who's been here. This is his 3rd year, but I can't.
Who's the one guy people are talking about? Fears went to Michigan State.
Fears' brother, I think, is people are talking about.
Yeah. But he's like 2025.
Can we get
Skyy officially just tweeted something out?
Oh, good thing we stayed on for this. Okay.
Skyy Clark is trending. Just in, Illini freshman guard to step away from basketball for the time being, he wrote on social media.
How about you just leave instead of stepping away?
There you go.
I don't get it.
I want to start by saying that I love the University of Illinois, my coaching staff, my teammates, and the broader Illini's community. Okay. I made friendship in these few short months that I will keep with me the rest of my life. This decision has nothing to do with basketball, but it does have everything to do with prioritizing myself and my family's well-being. For personal reasons, I need to step away from basketball for the time being, putting myself and my family first. I appreciate everyone's support during this time, but please respect not only my privacy, but the privacy of all those around me. Thank you and much love.
Okay, this changes everything. Number 1. Number 2.
Lie detector test determined that was a lie, ACG says.
That doesn't seem fair, but okay. I don't know. I'm not gonna if he's gonna ask for his decision to be respected, I think we need to do that. Number 1. Number 2, you never know what's going on in somebody's personal life. and especially an 18-year-old. Like we saw this with Iowa the other day with Patrick McCaffrey's or Connor McCaffrey. Which one? Patrick.
Connor.
It was Patrick. That was
Patrick.
Patrick. Yeah.
I don't know.
What is this? SpongeBob?
The tall one.
Yeah. So obviously never. I mean, I think if Skyy was intending to leave and transfer, like now, like he was done, like he didn't want to play here, but he wanted to play somewhere else, I think he probably wouldn't have said anything about it having nothing to do with basketball. But makes you think, makes you wonder. I don't know. Kind of, I don't really know how to interpret. Like, what is Brad going to say about this? I wonder.
Yeah, I don't know. You think that? Yeah, I know that he had his interview this morning, but you think Skyy maybe would have? It's just weird that it got dropped how it did. St. Dominic, I really think Skyy was just not that good. Wouldn't be surprised me if he never pans out to what he was projected to be. ACL injury,
but it's been 13 games. I mean, we can't.
ACG says Coleman line 40 minutes, 2 for 11, 5.6 assists, 4 rebounds, 3 fouls, 1 pissed off Ethan. How many turnovers? You got to put the turnovers in there. 7?
I would go anywhere from 5 to 7.
Maybe this has already been asked, but do you think because Skyy was so much higher on NIL, it was causing a lot of friction with the guys, maybe better chemistry without him?
If the NIL thing is a problem, then I want to forfeit the season.
And and that's I had a buddy last night say, is the NIL getting people's panties in a bunch along, with a team or whatever, like, this guy's really good, but he doesn't photograph well or talk well. So this Brandon Lieb is making more NIL money than the best player on the team. I'm not saying that's what is happening in Illinois, but
what would they be thinking? What would they be thinking when Kofi is making $30 million a year this year? I mean, obviously not that much, but he'd be making way more than anybody else. So I wonder.
TSJ should be our point guard, ball dominant like Iowa's, alongside Epps as your guard. Thing is, like, I know everybody said that Io couldn't go to his left, but he could. Terrence Shannon Jr. cannot go to his right at all. So if he is staying with Illinois, tough look for fans calling him out on social media. I agree. We said that at the beginning.
Because everybody jumps the gun on everything. Like my first tweet about it was I said, okay, that's it. And then I had to gather my thoughts and then have another tweet. So I'm not just going to instantly I'm not going to call out the program for it either.
Yeah. Imbrot says that changes what I thought too. I thought you had a better offer. First semester just ended and passing classes is not a given for even players. Yeah. There's something going on with his family. Sounds like whatever it is, we hope the best for him. Illinois, is going to play without him, and
sounds like a mental health thing to me. I don't know, because he said his well-being, so I don't know.
Or maybe it says my family's too.
Yeah, it could be both.
Maybe he has.
Well, also you have probably idiots tweeting at his brother or his parents or whatever, saying you didn't raise him right. If he was growing up in Iowa on my farm, he'd be disciplined and able to coach well. That's what all those losers from Iowa were probably saying, or
I didn't know Iowa people had that big an accent different than ours, but I guess they do.
We can venture on down to Alabama too if you want. So all those dipshits, the type.
TSJ is a great number 2 guard, not a point at all. I agree. Do you guys think it's Brad Underwood being hard on them? No, I think that they're okay with somebody has to yell at them, right? And when you keep messing up, I think Gibbs Lawhorn put it well. I think he said something along the lines of, if you do something wrong 3 times, you should expect to be yelled at. So I think that is a very good point. So is it a Urban Meyer? I'm leaving Florida for my family and ends up at Ohio State. I don't know. We don't know.
Maybe.
But again, we hope the best for him. I don't know if he comes back to Illinois. It doesn't sound like he's going to come back this year. So reevaluate, see what happens. But you got to take care of yourself and your family, and so that's understandable. So all you people that overreacted, just
I
shut
hope
up.
you feel bad about yourself.
Yeah, I hope you feel like terrible human beings. But anything else?
Nope. I think we've all
right.
seen enough.
All right. We appreciate everybody that came out. Little quick podcast. We will be live tomorrow around 12:15 for a watch party for the Wisconsin game. So if you guys want to stop by tomorrow, but yeah, hit that like, subscribe, whatever button, whatever platform you're on, follow. We
The
appreciate
247 boys are gonna talk about how it's Brad's fault, probably. But anyway, and they'll be afraid to ask Brad any real hard questions moving forward, though. All right, well, we'll see everybody tomorrow for the watch party. If they lose, I'm gonna be a broken fan host. It's gonna break me. I don't want to lose that game.
If you want to hear a lot of F-bombs and Illinois losing tomorrow,
there's gonna be
stop on by.
Record setting, probably.
The watch party. So
I mean, I think if we look back at the middle of the Texas game when they were getting beat, what I said might not have been wrong. I kept calling them soft and how much, I look pretty
Texas,
spot on right now.
Texas, and I hate to use the word, but they choked that game away. So
similar to Ohio State last night and Indiana.
Yeah.
And San Francisco. Anyway, okay, we got to go.
Yeah.
And Washington. Right, but anyway.
There were a lot of chokes yesterday.
Yeah. We'll see everybody tomorrow at 12:15. Be there. Be square, as they say.
I think it's or be square.
I didn't want to add the or. I wanted to put my own spin on it.
So they're going to be square if they come?
Yeah, they are actually. So, okay.